Good evening. My name is Onepeg MG, and this is the Tarkov news update for December 23rd, 2018. So I'm a little bit delayed on this. As I said in my prior video, I was out of town this past weekend, but now that we're back in town, I'm going to do a bit of a in-depth analysis on the 0.11 patch notes, as well as some media associated with what those announcements were, the items, the changes, basically whatever it is that I have background information-wise, I will be sure to include in this episode. Now, fair warning, because this episode is centralized around patch notes, and patch notes do tend to be rather large in terms of their content, that means that the likelihood that this video is going to extend beyond the normal, 8 to 10 minute duration is pretty good. So buckle in if you guys want to stick around for that. Lastly, if you guys obviously consider this content to be valuable to you, I would ask that you please consider subscribing to the channel, as well as checking out the links that I list below in the description. That will be a link for Discord, my Twitch channel, and my Twitter. We have lots of conversations in the Discord server about Tarkov and all kinds of things related to Tarkov, and as time goes on, we'll start branching out into other survival-ish related games in hopes that we can turn this community into something that's centralized around this type of genre. Okay, so Tarkov patch notes got released a couple of days ago on Friday after my upload. First thing up, dear escapers, we are glad to present you with the preliminary patch notes for the upcoming 0.11 patch. There won't be a wipe. Now, quick note in regard to this message of there won't be a wipe, there's also a poll ongoing right now where the devs, after announcing that there would not be a wipe, decided that they would ask the community if they would like one or not. More or less, I guess it looks like majority vote wins. So there will also be a link in the description to that. Please be sure to go and check out that content and cast your vote. Added, a new location, laboratory. The underground laboratory complex, Terror Group Labs, is a secret facility beneath the center of Tarkov. Officially, this research center does not appear on any lists, and according to fragmentary data, is engaged in the studying, testing, and modeling in the fields of chemistry, physics, biology, and high technology. As this location is considered to be closed, it has special types of extractions. New mechanics imply the need to meet certain conditions for the activation of the extraction. So if you guys remember in the last podcast, we talked about this in the translated podcast that was done by Sneaky Russian, my boy. It was disclosed that they were going to have a different type of extraction process where you would have to, as it appears, and as I took it, have to do a certain number of things in order to be able to open up one of the extraction locations. So it looks like from this, they're going to say it is possible to activate extractions more covertly, discreetly, thereby reducing the chances of detection by raiders, or loud, what will lead to activation of laboratory announcement systems and will attract raiders to the source of the noise. So we know that they're adding in these elite raider scavs, which will, based on what Nikita said prior, said that they will have improved gear and improved combat mechanics. So it looks like the raiders, and maybe I can get some clarification on this, it looks like the raiders will be a triggered kind of thing. If there are raiders in the raid, you can attract them to your location by triggering the extraction. And if you do this noisily, it would also, I suppose, attract any other raiders, not necessarily just the PvE scav raiders. Now, they did make a special note here saying that it will be impossible to play as a raider scav. They're also adding a new offline mode. Remember this screenshot? So this is going to be an offline mode with more flexible settings for bots, difficulty, the number of them, the ability to activate the bosses or arrange a war between the scavs, have them fight each other, and with an additional mode of tagged and cursed, which means all scavs are coming for you specifically. I kind of like that last idea of like this zombie horde mode. It would give you a chance to possibly improve upon your aiming, your flick shots, your point shooting, all of that. New scav boss, Killa, which we've seen many times at Interchange with his Adidas outfit on. Expansion of the custom zone, which I actually have an idea on what this might look like. Now, I don't have confirmation, but here you'll see that I have just the standard customs map with the borders outlined, right? So this is essentially the layout of what customs looks like right now. Logically, it looks like the best way to go about expanding this would be to kind of take out this gap that I've got marked out with these purple hash marks, and this blue line would be kind of the new border. Customs has always been a bit of a corridor with this massive choke point as you approach the new gas station. So we see like this massive bottleneck. It looks to me like it would be advantageous possibly to open up this section a little bit to the south of where and southwest of where the construction zone is, and possibly even add a couple of these entrances, which I've outlined here in yellow, which I think would add a pretty cool element to the map itself and would allow for some different types of lanes of gunplay as opposed to just the one in between dorms and gas station where everyone tends to have to congregate no matter what. Next on the list is new quests for all traders. 21 in total is the note here, and it looks like my guess would be it would be somewhat assigned to Terra Group at some extension. They're adding a new skill of search, which increases the speed of searching bodies, which is interesting. So tap more bodies, search more body parts. New type of consumable item, which they marked as stimulators, and in English, pure English, the way that we would say it in the United States would be stimulant, which temporarily improves the level of skills of the character, its characteristics, and can also have negative side effects. So it is possible to overstimulate yourself. Additionally, some medications now have a usage resource. For example, the blister packs of analgen tablets can be used 4 times. So this is something that the community has asked for in the past. In fact, I think I even saw it requested on Clean Stream. Tablets in a blister pack, if it's a brand new blister pack of analgen or analgesic tablets. My guess is this would also extend to medication that's in bottles like ibuprofen. The morphine injectors will probably still be single use, but this is a really nice added mechanic. My guess is that it would also come with a price increase on Therapist, because it would only make sense if you're going to get 4 times the medication, it's probably 4 times the cost. Added the ability to pick up all insurance refunds in one mail. This also works for multiple mails from the flea market. Now this is huge. If anybody has ever seen, if any of you guys have ever seen any of my videos from a few weeks back when the flea market was in full swing, my main complaint was always that if you do the number of transactions that I had been doing of 200, 300 a day, it would take 30 or 40, 45 minutes to go through and open up each one of those mail messages, and then obviously compounded by the insurance system. So this is a fantastic change to that, and I commend the devs for finally implementing this. New feature of melee. Now it will be impossible to pick up a melee weapon from dead PMCs. Now, my assumption in this case would be if you and a friend get together, or a group of friends get together, have like a little club, and everybody brings in a Barza knife, and you guys just go round robin in terms of who kills who and getting to loot those knives and leave. This would obviously eliminate that whole idea of farming melee weapons for barter trade. Again, I think this is a pretty good idea. Now the magazine check animation shows you the type of the top cartridge. One of the things that when you check mags, it would say, about half, almost full, full, nearly empty, empty, that kind of stuff. So you kill a PMC or a scav, you take their weapon, you take their main gun, and then you check the mag. It will tell you, oh, they had BP, oh, they were using PS, etc. Now, when greeting, if you get close to another character and press Y, the player who you greet sees your nickname in the notifications area. Now, initially when I read this, I thought that this was a little hokey, but if I walk up to you and I introduce myself in greeting and I say, hi, you should be able to see my name, right? Just like if you were to meet somebody on the street and you were to walk up to them and say, hi, my name is, and they just shrug you off. Now they know your name, but you don't know theirs. So this way that they have this set up kind of does make sense to me. The letters from the flea market now show the name of the goods sold. So previously, whenever you opened up something, it would say so-and-so bought your item, but it wouldn't say which item. In this case, now it will say what it was that you sold. Added a new bar that shows the total cost of all gear in your stash, maybe a little quality of life improvement. So now we on to weapons and attachments. The next addition here under weapons and attachments is the ADAR 215, which is a civilian AR-15 assembled in Russia. It's actually not mostly manufactured there. The only things that they actually manufacture in Russia, believe it or not, is the handguard, the hand attachment hardware, and the gas block. The rest of the stuff is imported, mostly from Taiwan. The chrome-plated barrel is supplied by Remington via Molat. So, during the last Russian podcast, they also shared this image. Now, this image is actually an ADAR 215, but it looks very Kalashnikoved, doesn't it? Well, the reason for that is because the foregrip and the stock are both made of wood. There is a company that is a sister company to ADAR that is named Art Deck Art. And Art Deck Art creates wooden foregrips and stocks for the ADAR 215, which Battlestate Games seems to also have included in their game, which is actually kind of cool because these were only being produced since about March. Really interesting stuff. The next weapon that we have is the HK416A5, which is Heckler and Koch. This gun is based on the M4, but is touted as being something that is a little bit lighter, a little bit more easily handled, and in this case, although it doesn't really matter for Tarkov, it's ambidextrous. Probably will be something that is a later game item. I would say you'd unlock, be able to access the M4 itself first, and then the HK416 will come later, kind of like what we saw with the MP7. Next is the RPK-16, which famously was shown in prior podcasts as being the weapon of choice for Killa. The RPK-16 comes with a drum mag, the RPK mag, a 5.45 drum mag, and from what was said on the podcast, that drum mag will work with any other 5.45 AK. Next up is the Remington 700. So I do not know if the Remington 700 will be 308 only. That's something that we've seen touted in podcasts in the past, especially the Russian one when they started showing a lot of the different video that they had there. The Remington 700, for those of you that don't know, is commonly a 308 hunting rifle. It's very possible they could also sneak in a 338 version of the Remington 700. For those of you that don't know, the Remington 700 does come in a 338 Lapua, so it's possible that they could include that as well. They did make mention of something about a 338. I do not know if they're going to include it with this Remington, if there's going to be a 338 variant. It would be kind of cool to see, though. Obviously, we have that pretty well seen screenshot at this point from a prior podcast about the different variants of Mosin rifles, including the Obrez, which will be pretty cool. And then they also made a note here that they're going to include more than 80 various weapon attachments for all of the weapon systems, including the P226 and the TT pistol, which there was a video of the TT pistol with a nice shiny new hand grip and a laser designator. On to melee weapons. There was a bunch of various videos that showed the melee weapons in action. One of them was the shovel or the entrenching tool, the MPL-50, 6H5 bayonet, the M2 tactical sword, and if I might, guys, over at Battlestate, if in the future you guys could include a black trench coat just so that I could do a full conversion of my PMC character into blade, that would be really great. Thanks. A hatchet crash axe, machete SP8, the Bear Grylls ultimate fixed blade knife, the Ice Axe Rebel ADZE axe, and the Axe X7. So a lot of melee weapons being added, none of which we can throw yet. Could we maybe get weapon throwing at some point? That would be also really sweet. So new equipment on the horizon. So they're adding 3 different types of NVG goggles. They're adding the NVG 10T, the Armasight N15, and the GP NVG 18s. Now the GP NVG 18s were something that was shown a couple of podcasts ago, and those are actually panoramic NVGs that have 4 optics on them and cost around 42,000 USD. In the real world. So it'll be interesting to see what the price points on some of these things are. I'm not sure exactly what the NVG 10T looks like. I tried finding something more up to date, you know, kind of in the real world. I do have stuff for the Armasight N15, but I was not able to find anything that definitively marked out the 10T. I'm gonna assume that's a monocle, but I'm not 100%. So maybe one of you guys could let me know what that is. On to headwear and helmets. So we have the Armasight NVG Skull Lock mask, which is not the Ops Core Skull Lock. The helmet Masca 1SCH and armored face shield, that is the helmet that Killa wears, although these are green and not Adidas striped in black. Helmet PSH 97 Jetta, that's similar to a Kolpak. Looks like a current issue Riot helmet. I would say that that is probably going to be similar in armor to a Kolpak. They also have the helmet SSH 68M. That is the Russian army helmet, which was the predecessor to the 6B47. So no longer standard issue in their military systems anymore. It's been replaced by the 6B47 helmet. Looks like it will be something that is possibly available earlier than the 6B47. They also have this SHPM firefighter helmet. Now this looks like it's just some pretty low grade plastic, possibly even a lower grade than the Colpack. I would say maybe it's a, grade 1 armor. I don't know if that's going to be more of a cosmetic item or if it's actually supposed to be designed for a little bit of protection, but it looks like it's something that's even of a worse grade than the Colpack. Also, they have these Cry Precision airframe helmets along with ears and chops options. The last time that we actually saw this was in a couple of podcasts ago where they listed that and showed the character model of kind of having like those Spartan-ish chops. Also, there's the slap module for the Fast MT helmet. So for those of you that don't know, the slap module is also what's referred to as a slap plate. It is an add-on for the Fast MT that puts an extra plate of armor on the forehead of the helmet, basically just offering for some extra protection against penetration. There's also a list of 2 sets of safety glasses, the Pyra Pyramex and the SIM frame. There's also 2 new headsets that are going to get added. So they have the Peltor Tactical Sport. Anyone in the States could just go out to Field and Stream or anywhere else that is for hunting goods and buy. Then they also have the modified headset Peltor ComTac 2, which the modified headsets, as is my understanding, are the ones that go and wrap around the back of the head and underneath like a Fast MT helmet, like the other set of ComTacs that we have. I don't know acoustically what the difference will be between the different ComTacs and their signal response. Maybe Veritas will do another audio science video. Who knows? Then we have a big old list of body armor. So they added the 6B13 vest. They also have the HiCom Trooper TFO body armor, the ZH-UK3, the ZH-UK6A, and then there's also tactical vests where they have the 6B515, 6B516 that have their own armor plates. So they're adding new tack rigs that have armor in them. They're adding harness belts A and B. Also, Wartech TV110 plate carrier and the ANA Tactical M1 plate carrier. More armored plates for these tack rigs. I don't know where exactly these will fall in. I'll probably do some more in-depth stuff with this as they get announced, but it stands to reason that these will probably have a lot of barter trades as we move up in tiers, possibly even some unlocks depending on where these things fall in the hierarchy. They also added 2 new backpacks, the Paradis 3-Day Operator's Tactical Backpack and the Blackjack 50. Now the 50 in Blackjack 50 stands for 50 liter. So I'm assuming this will kind of be the new king of backpacks in terms of how much stuff it will hold, which also means more than likely this will be a barter item or possibly a very late game unlock. Other items. So they're adding a case for magazines only, which I thought was cool. The Kappa secure container. So the keywords here are secure container. Now the Kappa looks like it might be gamma sized, maybe even bigger. We already have the Epsilon, which is 2x4. Gamma is 3x3. It stands to reason that the Kappa will be something that's very, very late game unlocked through possibly quest chains. If it's larger than a gamma, that would be pretty cool because that means that you can work through unlocking something that's even better and you don't necessarily have to burn the coin on buying a gamma. They're also adding a thick items case, which the thick weapons case was its predecessor. So now this will be an eye case that will fit everything. I don't know exactly how big the thick items case will be, but if it's based on anything like what the weapons case is, we'll probably see like an extra row on the sides. They're adding a case for dog tags and the Mr. Holodilnik bag. So Mr. Holodilnik is as I understand it, a Russian YouTube personality. I don't know exactly what this bag is going to have in terms of space, but it's going to be there. There will also be new ammo boxes. So one of the things that the community has been asking for is for these nicer, higher tiers of ammo, if there would be a possibility of being able to find those out and about. It looks like they're adding those to the loot table. We'll see after, some of the guys in the community do some data mining, what that exactly looks like and possibly even the spawn chances. So a new ammo type that they're adding is the RIP ammo, which I made a video on a little while back and asked, what the hell is this stuff? And I was pleasantly surprised that a very high number of you knew exactly what that was. For those of you that don't know, it's designed to fragment on purpose when it hits its target and sends shards of metal throughout the body of that target. My guess is that this will have no penetration power whatsoever, but if it hits flesh, it's going to shred it. I would say if you hit somebody in the chest with RIP ammo and they're not wearing any armor, the likelihood that it's going to be a one-shot kill is probably 100%, or any other vital area, stomach included, I would say. I mean, if you're going to shred somebody's internal organs by hitting them in the gut, I can't imagine they'd be walking away from it. They're also adding 54539, 7N39, 55645 War Mage, 9x19 9x19 rip ammo, 12x70 rip ammo, 9x39 BP, 9x39 SPP, as well as, like I said, new barter items. So there's the confirmation that they're going to be adding new barter trades. So in addition to all of that, they're going to have new consumables. So they're adding Aquamari water with an integrated filter. I'm guessing this might have like even higher levels of hydration than what a water bottle would do. They're also adding Devil Dog Gamer's mayonnaise jar. Russian content creator Alcon After is getting a can of Sprats, and we already mentioned stimulants. Now from here, they also ran through a big old list of optimizations and AI improvements. Just as a quick scan here, it looks like they've added some more reactive behavior to scavs, where they use a long barrel, they take appropriate cover when using long barrel rifles. If they break visual contact, they'll stop and listen and see if they can hear you coming. It looks like if they have a shotgun, it changes their accuracy, so maybe they don't leg mate at you all the time. Maybe they're going to aim more for center of mass. We'll see. It says corrected difficulty, AI hearing, and some other parameters. So again, they've tweaked the AI difficulty, so we'll see if that means they're going to turn into Terminators or not. They've also added new scav taunts. Now they react to people having a broken hand, a broken leg, friendly fire from behind, superior force of the enemy, and low health. So it looks like they're going to either taunt you if they know that they broke something of yours, or if maybe they get broken, they're going to say something along those lines. But I think if it's a scav taunt, they're probably going to say like, I got you, you know, like that kind of stuff. And then there's a large number of bug fixes and vulnerability glitches. With the office door at factory was a big one. And vulnerability glitch with the toilet doors, looks like that's been fixed. Out of sync inventory when throwing nades, that's been fixed, which is very good. Let's see if there's anything else that's major. Looks like they fixed a lot of localization errors. So one of the things that we were saying about context of tasks and names of weapons and tooltip errors and that kind of thing, it looks like they fixed a lot of those. Fixed an error where the USEC said that their breathing sounds were running too short. Melee kills are now counted in quest progress, so that's a big one. If you guys didn't know before, if you were on a task like kill 5 PMCs at Shoreline for a friend from the West, if you did that with a melee weapon, if you were on a hatchet run and just killed a guy by punching him in the face with your hatchet, that kill did not count toward your task. So now that they've fixed that, that's a very good thing. Okay, one other big change. One of the things that players could and would and have done multiple times is, say you have a group of 5 people that are all level 40. If all 5 of you spawn into the same map and you take round robin turns at hatchet killing the other 4 members of your party, you can pick up their dog tags and go sell them, make some easy money. Now they've eliminated the ability for people to be able to do that. Makes complete sense to me. They extended the scroll bar on some of the screens, deleted traders who cannot repair items from the repair menu, which is nice. They balanced body armor and plate carriers again. What that means, we don't know yet, but we'll see. And they also changed the base prices on some products. Any of the painkillers that have multiple use, any of the other items that have multiple uses, it looks like they're going to be modifying those prices. My guess is it will be linear with however many doses those things have. So that's what I've got for the patch notes, guys. Thanks again for checking in, and we'll see you at the next one. All right? Peace.